Hey, what's up, guys? It's me again, Y2CJ3600. I'm here trying to do voiceovers once again. Uh, Make sure ain't no snakes around, because I got snakes in my backyard. Um, so yeah, this time I decided to go away from comic book and actually try to do something else I love a lot, and that's Star Trek. And I decided who better to try to voice than the great one himself, Captain Jean-Luc Picard. I feel Captain Jean-Luc Picard is the best Star Trek captain ever. I feel Next Generation is the best Star Trek series ever. Even though the other ones are good too. Like, don't get me wrong, like, the other ones are really good. But there's just something about Next Generation that like came full circle, Because the original series, they was limited to the time era they was in the budget. So that's why, and the culture that they was in. So that's why that show looked the way it did. Then you have DS9, which was really good, but it wasn't good until like the fourth season. And they showed like the war aspect of like the Federation. And Voyager didn't get good until the fourth season when they showed like the technological aspect of the Federation. And Enterprise is, well, Enterprise. Like, Enterprise is alright, it's okay, but they tried too hard to be a combination of the original series, Next Generation, and the modern day advancement of Voyager that we got to see. And that's with Discovery. I don't like Discovery. That's not Star Trek. Anyway, I decided to not only voice Captain Picard, but do it from the most, in my opinion, the best Star Trek movie ever, and that's First Contact. Like, the second best is probably Wrath of Khan, but First Contact, that was the best Next Generation movie ever. It was the first movie that felt like the stakes are real, because if they would have screwed up, then all of the Alpha Quadrant would have been nothing but the board. Decided if I'm gonna voice Sir Patrick Stewart, then I'm gonna do some of his most famous lines from First Generation. And the thing about Patrick Stewart's voice is that he played a French man, but I'm pretty sure that Patrick Stewart is British, but he sounds like he has a little Scottish in him. But yeah, I'm gonna try to do my best thing, and well, that's it. And I'm gonna say this line.
Number one, open a channel to the fleet.
Channel open, sir.
This is Captain Picard of the Enterprise. I'm taking command of the fleet. Target all of your weapons onto the following coordinates. Fire at my command. Trust me, Data. Bye.
Number one, open a channel to the fleet. This is Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the Enterprise. I'm taking command of the fleet. Target all of your weapons on the following coordinates. Fire when ready. Trust me, Data. Trust me, Data. Fire. Well, that's the best I could try to do, but also, I wanted to do the most famous line towards the end of the movie that is just as good as when Captain Kirk screamed out Khan. And one thing that made this so great is that it caused Captain Picard, not the actor Patrick Stewart, but it caused Captain Picard to go out his comfort zone. Like, we've never seen him react ever like this in Star Trek. Like, even when he was pissed at Wesley when he was a cadet, or when he gave that stern lecture to Admiral Kirk, he got angry, but he was stern. He was never like seething angry. And that was just like a whoa factor to take one of the most chill captains and cause him to go like revenge crazy. But here's that famous line.
We have to work on finding another way to modify our weapons so they'll be more effective. In the meantime, tell your men to stand their ground.
Sir.
Fight hand to hand if they have to. 6 years ago, they assimilated me into their collective. I had their cybernetic devices implanted throughout my body. I was linked to the hive mind. Every trace of individuality erased. I was one of them.
So you can imagine, my dear, I have a somewhat unique perspective on the Borg, and I know how to fight them. In my century, we don't succumb to revenge. We have a more evolved sensibility.
Bullshit!
What?
You do have books in the 24th century.
This is not about revenge.
Liar!
This is about saving the future of humanity!
Jean-Luc, blow up the damn ship!
No! We've made too many compromises already. Too many retreats. They invade our space, and we fall back. They assimilate entire worlds, and we fall back. Not again. The line must be drawn here. This far, no farther. And I will make them pay for what they've done.
We have to find a way to make our weapons more effective. Until then, tell your men to stand their ground. We have to find a way to modify our weapons so that it be more effective. Tell your men. Until then, tell your men to stand their ground.
In the meantime, tell your men to stand their ground.
We have to work on a way to modify our weapons so that it be more effective. Until then, tell your men to stand their ground. Fight hand to hand if they have to. 6 years ago, they assimilated me into their collective. I had their cybernetic devices implanted throughout my body. So you can imagine, my dear, I have a certain unique perspective of how to deal with them.
On the Borg, and I know how to fight them.
So you can imagine, my dear, I have a certain perspective of how to deal with the Borg, and only I can fight them. So you can imagine, my dear, I have a certain unique perspective of how to deal with the Borg, and I know how to fight them. In my time, we don't succumb to revenge. We have a more evolved sensibility. In my century, we don't succumb to revenge. We have a more evolved sensibility. This is not about revenge. This is about saving the future of humanity. I will not sacrifice the Enterprise. I will not sacrifice the Enterprise. We've made too many compromises already. Too many retreats. They invade our space, and we fall back. Assimilate entire worlds, and we fall back. The line must be drawn here. Right here, no farther. And I will make them pay for what they have done. The line must be drawn here. This far, no farther. And I will make them pay for what they have done. And I will make them pay